Even though the country's 11 sugar factories continue to run daily and farmers continue to grow cane, Kenya remains a sugar-deficient country. The Ministry of Agriculture says the total local production capacity currently stands at 600,000 metric tons annually against a demand of 860,000 metric tons. With demand outweighing supply, sugar importation becomes inevitable. The country imports 200,000 to 300,000 metric tons annually from regional neighbors in the COMESA trading bloc to meet the deficit of 260,000 metric tons currently. The government indicates that the sugar reserve has currently shrunk to 4,500 metric tons. The status notwithstanding, heated exchanges have been traded between the government and the opposition over the controversial deal. But it's the lack of clarity of the details of the agreement or the existence of such a deal that has spiraled the debate to fever pitch. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has both confirmed and denied that a deal was entered into during the recent Uganda visit by the president.
There was no agreement signed in Uganda during President Uhuru Kenyatta's state visit. There was no agreement that was signed. If there was one that was signed, it was definitely signed away from us.
The ministry's communique on the second day of the visit, however, stated, quote, Kenya has agreed to give Uganda business people and companies permits that will allow it to export its surplus sugar to the Kenyan market, end of quote. The statement went on to say that Uganda, on its part, had agreed to allow Kenya beef and related products to access Uganda markets immediately. A communique released a day after as the state visit wrapped up, however, had no mention of the sugar, beef or dairy agreements that the Foreign Affairs Ministry had alluded to, even though the issue of trade imbalance between the two nations featured prominently.
Uganda imports $700 million worth of product from Kenya. They do. They only export to us 150 million.
Besides addressing the trade imbalance, the communique arising from the discussion of the two heads of state revolved around several other areas of common interest, including crude oil export pipeline, political and security development in the region, and the realization of the East African Political Federation.
The only document that was signed during this visit was signed during the business forum, and it was signed between the chairman of our Chamber of Commerce and the chairman of the Chamber, or chairperson actually because it's a lady, of the Chamber of Commerce of Uganda.
The quote-unquote sugar deal, however, has become the center of interest, not only for politicians, but also for sugar millers and cane farmers.
So we are also watching. Is this important sugar a reality? And if you are a reality, what does Nzoia do for the purpose of competitiveness?
It cannot just be a blanket opening of our gates for sugar from Uganda, from Jinja, wherever, to enter this country when we know that our sugar being produced by our millers is on the shelves, in the stores, it is in their godowns, simply because the market is flooded.
Sugar factories are, however, shutting operations for routine maintenance, but this is not expected to cause further shortage. Sylvia Chebet for The Big Question.